Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, Lulicker, Shills, Nestle, Stars, Peasants, Vassals. I'm a useful idiot. Today I want to talk about the Department of Homeland Security. Reports come out and stated that since September 11th, 2001, the United States has spent $781 billion on the Department of Homeland Security. And that's quite a bit of money to spend when it is unclear where the money goes and it is unclear what has been achieved. In fact, there's no definition of what Homeland Security even is. And so this is interesting on a number of levels. First of all, we have almost another $1 trillion that we can add on to the cost of the war on terror. 10 years in Iraq, 10 years in Afghanistan, all the other hot spots all around the globe. So now we can add almost another $1 trillion to the cost of this war on terror. And the other thing that's interesting about this is that supposedly the Department of Homeland Security was created to coordinate an effort to consolidate all the intelligence agencies and make the sharing of information more efficient so that we do not have these security failures. But as it turns out, we just added another gigantic bureaucracy that only cuts down on the efficiency. And since 9/11, we don't have less intelligence agencies. We have far more intelligence agencies. So they've created even more bureaucracy, even more inefficiency, even more of a money hole. And here we are, $781 billion 11 years later. And to put it in perspective, Washington, D.C. spent an inflation-adjusted $500 billion on the entire New Deal program under FDR. And we got plenty to show for that. We have $781 billion spent on the Department of Homeland Security, and we've got nothing to show for it. And as I've argued many times before, not even sure why we needed a Department of Homeland Security. We have the FBI, we have the CIA, we have military intelligence, and we have the Department of Defense. And I thought that would be plenty. See, Department of Defense defending the homeland, and then the Homeland Security Department. See how those pretty much should cancel each other out. But in the way the government works, no, a new bureaucracy, a giant, expensive bureaucracy like this that overlaps with everything else, somehow in the government's mind is money well spent. And let's take a closer look at this money, $781 billion. Let's speculate based on what we do know where that money went. Well, we know it went to buy hundreds of millions of rounds of ammunition, and we know it went to help build internment and processing camps. We know it's gone to a great extent to create a vast and highly technological police and surveillance state. That's where Department of Homeland Security money goes to. It's gone to militarize the police across the nation, and that's what we get for our Department of Homeland Security money, $781 billion. We've created our own slavery system. We've been paid for our own slavery and enslavement in this country. And not only that, but when you trace the money trail, we find out that lots of people in government have been able to cash in on this war on terror. Many members of Congress, many members of our government position themselves to profit handsomely from the war on terror. A good example of that is Michael Chertoff, who used to be the head of the Department of Homeland Security. He set himself up to both invest in and market and lobby to the government the body scanners used in airports. So Michael Chertoff was able to make a killing off the war on terror, and just by positioning himself. And there's an entire new vast industry that's been created in the United States because of the Department of Homeland Security, and something that never existed before. And that's something I want to give my hats off to Bush too. You know, here he is, another Republican, and here he is, being let off the hook for a lot of his spending. But this is one of the things that needs to be added to the roster of Bush boondoggles, and another thing that shows the continuity of government and the continuity between administrations. So we have the Obama administration picking up right where Bush left off, shoveling money into the Department of Homeland Security and getting nothing in return. So we see this again where the Republicans and Democrats are arm in arm on all the big issues, the things that are important to them, like the police state and the surveillance state. So here's just another example of that. So congratulations, America. Another $781 billion spent in 10 years by our government, where we have nothing to show for it, and the money's going to keep getting shoveled into it year after year. Because who would dare question the validity of Homeland Security, whatever that is? I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.